and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. Happy Sunday to you all. So I'm going to work on my Heaven and Earth designs today. Let me just get my little sheet. So this is the one that I'm doing. It is Mini Beautiful Light by Adele Sesler. It has 15 colours and it's 46 by 82 centimetres. So last time you may remember I was on this sort of section about here. I did finish the rest up. So I did get to the end of the line, and then I did actually trim the canvas down to make it shorter. It's a lot easier to sort of manage now. There is still a little bit left on the edge because I think it's very weird if it finishes right on the edge, and I didn't want to risk cutting it funny in any way. I wanted to give myself that little bit of leeway. But I did get another section done. So I've got one full row done. It is 6.15% complete. So I still have quite a bit more to go. But I am starting over here now today. And I am going to start with the 310 to get a nice black reference section for myself. I find, oh, I might need to fill this up. I find that I use the dark colours as a reference when placing the next colours. So it's very handy to have, to start with a dark colour if I can. And it makes it just a little bit easier for me as I go on through the rest. But I'm trying to do at least one section on a WIP and Waffle per month. And then the hope is that I will do at least one other section as well. I normally try and do it straight after the WIP and Waffle. It's not going to happen today though. As many of you may know, it was shop launch weekend this weekend. So all the new items for February went on sale Friday evening, late Friday evening UK time. I don't know what day of the week it would have been for everybody else, but it was late Friday for us. Let me zoom you in and see how far I can get in and still get my tablet. So my cross stitch chart is on the tablet, and is there, I'm looking there and I'm wondering whether I've got, no, it's just the light. The light shined funny on the black diamond and it looked like it was grey rather than black. What was I saying? Yeah, so it was the shop launch, so it's a very, very busy weekend for me. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get a second section of this done this weekend, but I still have quite a bit of February left to hopefully be able to get another section done, because I'm quite liking that for potential progress on the diamond painting. I find that I feel as though I'm, you know, sort of achieving a little bit more when I get 2 sections done in a month. But yeah, thank you to all, as always, that purchased from the shop last night and any orders that are still coming in. The trays lasted, the blue tray lasted 21 minutes this time. Little bit longer than last month, though we did have a similar blue a few months ago. So I didn't expect it to necessarily go as quick, because we did have one similar. But because we were printing so many zesty trays, after January's release, we weren't able to print as many trays as we wanted, and quite a few of the colours that we have in mind for upcoming, we have more filament in for those. We plan on printing more, so I didn't want to print half of one colour and then print half of it another month. It doesn't seem right to me. So we just had to do sort of, you know, a little one. We only had one roll of filament for this month, and hopefully next month, I've already started printing next month's, we will have a colour in 2 different sizes for you without reducing the quantity that we have, so we can give people options. Fingers crossed, of course, that all works. But yeah, it's a very busy weekend for me. Also, I have I've also, you know, put in some family time, giving my son's room a blitz. So we wanted a bit of a hand, completely blitzing his room, you know, pulling everything out, sorting through all of his things, determining what he needs, what he doesn't. You know what it's like when you decide to blitz a room. It spreads to the rest of the house. I'm ignoring half that's spread to the rest of the house at the moment. I am, yeah, that will get dealt with later. That will get dealt with later, or hopefully by somebody else in the house. We'll see how that works. If somebody else gets to that first, all the better. But yeah, in turn, it's a very busy weekend this weekend. But much appreciated. Happy busy. Happy busy. So I'm filming this WIP and Waffle on Saturday evening. So it's Saturday evening for me, and it'll be put up Sunday for you guys. But yeah, I'm filming it on Saturday after just finishing blitzing his room, which is why I'm sort of ignoring the rest of the house. I might get some of it done tomorrow, or it might be that some other members of the house get some bits done tomorrow, get some things out the house that need to leave. It's always good to have a nice declutter. I feel like I need to declutter a few places in the house, but the kitchen will be next, because we'll be getting a kitchen fitted at the end of this month. So get ready to hear my moans about my kitchen being in complete disarray, because I'm sure that will happen. As long as I can still get my coffee, I reckon I will cope a lot better. Today I'm using the small zesty tray in pink. I know I am doing a lot of black at the moment, but I do like to use the zesty trays often when I'm doing a heaven and earth design, because my section, the section that I do, is a lot smaller than what I normally do on a painting. I'll normally do a bigger section when I'm sat in the conservatory doing it. So it makes me tip out less diamonds because there's less space for the diamonds to go. That whole ratio of diamonds to tray tends to be a bit smaller. So I like to use the smaller tray when doing a heaven and earth designs. I find it helps me to keep them down and focus on the section that I need to do. And this section is moving around quite a lot, though I have got my arm leaning on the rolled up section here, and I think that's what also keeps moving it. Okay, on to comments and questions. Oh no, and I'm using the limited edition rainbow pen as well. I do need to put a little six placer in the end. I like to use a 6 placer, even though the pens don't come with one. I like to switch mine out just because they fit in my pen case a little bit nicer. Not that I don't mind using the longer straightener. I just like them to fit in my pen holder as neat as possible, and they fit neater with a 6 placer. But yeah, I'm using that one today with one of our metal tips. I do need to change all my pens to metal tips, I think, because I do like them. It has got a glue dot in as well. But yeah, I've just not got round to sorting out. I did pick up a second pen case, because I know that there is a few limited edition pens that we will be doing, and I know that I'm going to want space for those, and potentially any other pens I buy I will need space for, because I like my pretty diamond painting pens. So it's my little treat because they're pretty. Okay, I thought having the tablet that close was going to work, but it's not, because I need to be able to get my hand and my little finger to steady myself before I put the diamond down. Okay, comments and questions. So Tracy, she said, wow, looking forward to your company, she said, while I diamond paint this wet, windy Sunday afternoon. She said, hope you and your family are well. Yes, we are well, thank you. We have all been busy this weekend, for definite, but that is most weekends, to be honest. Keeps us busy, keeps us all entertained. Okay, I'm going to do that section. I'm going to start back at the bottom. I've got a few black diamonds that aren't the best diamonds in here at the moment. They've got little bits sticking out of them, but that's what you get when you use your spares up. You sometimes end up with the rubbish diamonds, so I'm going to avoid them for a little bit, and then I might fish them all out. Oh, and then I have got a comment. I think it is in Arabic or Israeli, the name of the person, so it isn't something that I can read. But hello, they said, how fun, I am just doing my diamond painting right now with you. Oh, thank you. Darcy, oh, let me just check where I'm going for the next one. Darcy said she would love to have this painting, she just can't seem to find it. So that is the Minions painting that I was doing last week. Yeah, the Minions was a diamond art club that has since been discontinued. So it isn't a painting that you can get anymore, unfortunately. Sometimes that is what happens with diamond paintings in my stash. Sometimes they are still available, sometimes they're not. And I have been working on that one for over a year. So it has got to the point where it is no longer available. So I am sorry about that. But I can't really sort of stop doing a diamond painting because it's no longer available. But if it is ever available, I will always try and pop a link to it if I can, or I'll have the likes of a link to, say, a playlist. So for this Heaven and Earth Designs, there is a playlist on the Heaven and Earth Designs, on the mini one and on the big one, and I do show in more detail sort of where I got this from. But this is a pattern, a cross stitch pattern from Heaven and Earth Designs that I'm doing as a diamond painting on a blank canvas, and I'm doing it with my spare diamonds. So diamonds that I have left over from many previous diamond paintings from various companies, so they're various quality. But I do find that if you have bad drills, so drills that are not nice, if they're mixed in with a kit of nice drills, it tends to even itself out, and it doesn't ends up looking really good. Or at least I think my Heaven and Earth designs are looking really good so far. I didn't feel like I put enough diamonds on that one, but I did. Yeah, I did 6. There's also, in one of my Heaven and Earth design playlists as well, there is also a video for this app, which is the Pattern Keeper app that you can get on Android. If you can't find it, if you do go to the website addmorezest.com and click on videos, I actually have a section called applications. So any apps that I use in diamond painting or have used in the past, there is a video on them there. So the Pattern Keeper app, the Tiny Decisions app. There is also a logbook app there, though I have gone to the paper version. I am a bit more of a paper person than an app person in general. I normally favour a to-do list, a paper to-do list, rather than an online to-do list. I think you just get into a habit or a way that suits you. So Megan likes an app for her to-do list, and she's created one that is, you know, accessible by both of us for any shop stuff. And then I still tend to write them down on paper, anything that I need to do, because paper works better for me. And I often forget to pull up the app because my default is paper. So I love my to-do list book. It is just my go-to, well and truly my go-to for any sort of tasks and busy weekends, things like that. I'm straight to my to-do list book. Brain dump, love a good brain dump, clears my mind, and just gets it all down on paper so it can stop rolling around in my head. Sometimes it does scare me how big my brain dump is. It can sometimes be a very, very big brain dump, or at least I feel as though it is. But at least once it's all down, it's easier to focus on, you know, what is a 5-minute task and can actually get done, compared to, you know, what might be a longer task and I need to actually schedule it in, you know, allocate a time to do it, to make it the focus. And then if I do find that I'm, you know, waiting on something or needing something, quite often, for example, I end up waiting on the printers. So even when I'm having, you know, a filming day, which may be a bigger task in general to get X number of videos done, sometimes I find I am waiting on a printer to finish printing a tray because it's only got 5 minutes left and I want to tell it to print another one. And then I'll go and have a look, you know, if I have a 5-minute task that I can do while I'm waiting for it before I can go back to my main task, for example. And how on earth did we get onto that? That's what we ended up leading on to from a statement about Minions not being in stock anymore. Oh, that's why I call it a waffle. That's why I do waffle. It's probably a very good definition of a waffle. Okay, black is all done. I've got a nice guide now as well for when I'm filling in the rest. Right, I'm just going to fish out a couple of these bad diamonds that are sort of staring at me that I don't want to use in the future. And I have a rogue round diamond in there. So I've just fished them out and put them in the bin. I might not have got them all, but I've got a fair chunk of them. And any more, I'm sure I'll find when I do my next section. I'll be able to get any of those done then. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my first colour. And now I'm just going to do them down in order, because it always leaves the 5200, the white, to be the last one, which works for me because I can just throw it in at the end without having to think about it as much. That's what makes this one a little bit quicker because it's less colours, so therefore I'm often placing more diamonds each time I do it, which then makes it a little bit easier to just throw a load of one colour in at the end when it's finished. Oh, this one's going to be fun. Okay, so this one, so it's here, and then it's two, that row, and then it's two away from the end. Sort of stuck out in the middle of nowhere for that one. But I got it. Okay, 317, another grey. Well, there's a lot of greys. Darcy also said getting her Quiet Cove painting kitted up so that she can start it soon. I love a good kitting up. I have got a kitting up video coming this week, and I am going to be kitting up another large painting soon, which I'm quite excited to get to my next large painting, whatever that may be. I don't yet know what it's going to be. There are many that I want to do, and part of me is itching to do, well, I'm quite interested in doing a few of the new ones that I've had recently, but I am going to let the app decide which one I'm doing rather than picking it myself. I'm going to let the app decide, because then I feel like all my paintings, of which I do like them all my large paintings I feel like they all have a fair chance if I let the app decide which one I'm going to do. And if it picks one of my recent ones, so be it. If it picks one of my older ones, then that's fine too, because they also need doing. But I think my stash of large paintings is possibly getting bigger than my stash of small ones. I do like a good large painting. Okay, 318. I do pretty much have every single colour in a section on this painting, but I think that's because there is so few of them. It's often that it's going to hit each and every colour. We'll see, maybe I end up with some big sections of black. Try and make sure I get the right place for that one. That's the only thing with there being lots of little ridges, it's which ridge I'm supposed to be putting it on. So I'm partly using the colours that I've already placed, and I'm partly using the grid lines to make sure I get the right section. And I'm going to mark them off as I go along, because there's just so many grey. Oh, helps if I pick up a diamond. There's just so many greys that it can get confusing as to which one I'm doing. And I've done it again. I've gone and lined myself up over the square and then realised that I haven't got a diamond on the end of my pen. I've also got two stuck together here. So they've got a little nub in between them. So let's get rid of those. I don't like to stick them on the painting even if I've got two together, because it tends to leave a little gap. And I like them to be snug together if they can be. I like to click them next to each other. That diamond went a little bit out of place, but I should be able to knock it back in when I do the ones around it. And then I've got a few over in this little scattering. Oh, and I got one on it ready for that, and that's not in the square that I'm doing. Even though it's close, as soon as you start spreading outside of the block that I'm doing, it can get a lot more confusing if I do that. So it's easier to just not do it in the first place. So I don't need many of these. I don't know if I've got enough, but I know I don't need a lot. So let's see if I've ticked out enough. You guys can probably count them quicker. I'm just trying to get them placed. Where am I going? Up there. And I have 2 left. Well done. And I can't believe we've been at this 20 odd minutes already. Right, I need a few of these. Not quite halfway through on my colours yet. I've got a couple of different shades in this one. A couple of different shades of grey, but that's fine. I just make sure if I'm doing a cluster together, I try and keep them one of the similar shades. But if they're spread out, then I don't mind as much. If they're different, because it tends to still make the right picture. So that one's going there. Oh, Darcy has also said she's going to miss this work in progress for the Minions. She said she's going to miss it. It's turning out really beautiful. She said, but I know you're probably ready for it to be finished. She said she was on a catch-up of my videos, and she hopes that you keep them coming with the business increasing. Yes, videos will still be coming. That is definitely still my plan, to keep the videos coming as well. Every now and then it gets a little bit crazy. Gets a little bit crazy busy, but I am doing my best to keep all the videos going. I'm trying to focus my time a little bit more. So quite often I would spend, you know, the weekend doing a mixture of shop items / packing shop items, sorting out stock items, whatever. And I would mix it in with getting videos filmed and scheduled and ready. And that worked when, you know, things were maybe a little bit quieter. It worked quite well. But now things are a bit busier. I find that I personally myself work better being more focused. So I'm trying to focus more on spending Saturday getting all my videos done. Even if it means a really long day, getting all the videos done on a Saturday where I can. And then a Sunday will vary. Of course, shop launch weekends will always be busier. They often take, you know, the whole of the Friday evening, and then they take all the day on the Sunday to make sure orders are ready and out. But I'm hoping that days when it's not, or weekends when it's not a shop launch, while there will still be some shop work to do, it will be less. And therefore I can get on with some other stuff around the house that I want to do. Mainly, you know, decluttering, sorting, potentially decorating, that sort of thing. I can concentrate a bit more on that because I've focused down on what I'm doing each day, and I find I'm more productive if I do things, you know, focusing on one task. So while the shop and YouTube are very similar, they're both very enjoyable. I enjoy doing them both. But I do find when I flip between the two, I think I end up getting less done than when I focus on one or the other. I tend to get more done when I do that. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, videos are still coming. WIP and Chats are still coming. The idea when I started the second channel was the fact that I may be able to, you know, spread videos out across both channels and maybe have the odd day where I didn't have a video on this channel. And it's turned out that I still just have so many video ideas floating around in my head and so many things that I still want to do and videos I want to film that I don't seem to have done that. Maybe once the tip and trick series has finished, maybe it will be a little bit harder to have a video a day on this channel. Because the tips and tricks does, you know, take, it does sort of, you know, fill a couple of slots each week normally. So maybe it will slow down when that series is finished, if I do find 100 tips and tricks. We'll see. I sometimes think I haven't got any left. I've got a few on a list that I sort of, they need to be the right time for me to do them, or I need some things to be able to do them. So they're sort of still there. And then occasionally I think, oh, I can't think of one I can do this week. And then I end up thinking of one. Or I end up discussing something in a video that then turns into a tips and tricks. It's crazy. Cecilia, she says, why is it so relaxing, she said, to hear the plop sound when putting the diamond on the canvas. She said she likes it. Yeah, some people do say that the glue dot sound is annoying. When you do get that little pop. I mean, to be fair, this pen, I've used this quite a bit on the current canvas that I'm working on. So the plop sound is not as loud as it is when you first start using a glue dot. When you first start using a glue dot, the plop sound is definitely a lot more prominent. And this has definitely quietened down a little bit. But yeah, sometimes I find it can be annoying at the very, very beginning of using a glue dot. But I find within about half an hour or so, I really like the sound. It's quite therapeutic. I don't know if my husband would say the same thing, because often I'm listening to an audiobook as well, so I don't know how much I hear it. But he probably hears it more while watching the TV. So yeah, maybe it's not as therapeutic to him, but I quite like it. That one went out of line as well. That can get nudged back in later. And I have so many different colour varieties of this 762 in my little pile. But because they're all spread out, I don't think it's making a huge difference. But if you have a look at the colour varieties I've got in that, and I'm going with it. Amy has also said, she says Walmart is Asda. She says she knows that as it says it on the buildings. So yeah, Asda in the UK is, I think, owned by Walmart. But I'm not sure if it's like the same Walmart as in the States. I'm guessing it is. I'm sure there would have been some disagreement over the use of the name if it wasn't. But they definitely don't sell the same. Well, they sell a fair amount of stuff, but I wouldn't say it's along the same levels as a Walmart in the US. Or at least I don't think it is. I don't know that I've ever been a Walmart in the US. I think I've only ever seen it on YouTube. So maybe I've got it all wrong. Okay, let me get my next colour. That one's low. I'm hoping that's only, I do have a little dot on that label. Can you see the little dot on that one? So that means this is actually a colour that's used by both of my Heaven and Earth design paintings. And that just reminds me that if I can't find the one I want, and I've just realised that that diamond is in the wrong square, it should be there. Move it, scoot it over while I'm there. And that is the problem with these little step things. It can confuse as to where I'm going. Ooh, get to fill in a couple of gaps though. I like filling in a good gap. Okay, let me go back over here where I was going. Trying to work down one side of the painting and then work down the next one. Trying to get a little bit of structure. The cat lady, she says she has 2 diamond paintings on the go. One large and one small. She says, but then she also has a crochet and a knitting project on the go too. I like the variety. She says she needs variety and she can still get bored. She blames the dark days we're having. Yes, I'm with you on that one. I found I had a half day from work the other day. So I finished work at 12 o'clock. And it was amazing how much I got done. And in turn, how much that productivity went on into the evening as well. And I not only think it is the fact, you know, that of course I wasn't working as much. You know, I wasn't doing the day job that can be mentally draining quite often. So I know there was that whole aspect of time. But I think a lot of the time when I finish work and it's dark or it's getting dark, I think I just don't have the motivation to start something, you know, around the house, whether that be shop, YouTube, whether that be a household task. I don't feel like I have the drive to start that because it's getting dark. It's like my body goes, oh, okay then, I'll just sit down. You know, I'll just sit down, I'll just relax because it's dark and dreary. Whereas I do think when we get the lighter days, and it's starting to get lighter, there is an occasional time when I finish work and it's still lightish. It's not quite ready to put the lights on in the house, but it's not bright either. It's not quite fully nice weather or nice daylight, but I am really looking forward to when it becomes daylight when I finish work, because I feel like then I'll start to do something because of the light and continue to do it even if it goes dark while I'm doing it. But we'll see how we go. I have some white and some yellows mixed in with this lot. And I think 3865 is supposed to be more white than yellow. So I'm going to go for the more white ones. I think I have done in most of this painting. I'm guessing I had one from one supplier that was more yellow and it's just got fully caught up in all the rest. Sort of having to pay a little bit of attention to make sure that I'm getting the right step level. Try and remember to use my lines in the middle to help as well. Okay, let's go from the bottom now and work up. See if that makes it easier for me. Though it's not necessarily hard. It just can sometimes get confusing when they're scattered. So as much as I can often chat while I'm doing this, sometimes it is quite hard. Especially when one of these diamonds has got a green tone, but it doesn't look like a green tone on my screen. Definitely makes it harder. Oh, Jackie, she said she managed to get 3 of the double-decker 28 storage boxes. good job if you manage to get them. They have definitely gone up in price on Amazon at the moment. I do still keep the odd eye on the original listing in case the original seller puts more back in stock. But she said she did give one to her 9-year-old granddaughter so that she could put her tray, etc., pen, etc. in it. Yes, I gave one to my niece. So she has one of the coveted double-decker storage containers that were mentioned in the group and that I used to kit up the Add More Zest logo painting video that went up this last week. So I did use it to kit up that painting, and people have been trying to find it. I think somebody may have found one on US Amazon. I'm not sure though. But I know people were struggling to find it in Canada and stuff. I did have a browse the other night on AliExpress to see if I could find it there, because AliExpress ships to most countries. So I thought if I can find it on AliExpress, then at least it opens it up to most people. But I couldn't find it on AliExpress. And I think, you know, when I try to search for it, it's very hard to know what to search for, because it does just keep coming up with the 28 storage containers. And while it does have 28 sections, it's not the same box as the standard 28 storage that you can pick up pretty much everywhere. And I do enjoy using the 28 storage, but I love that double-decker thing. I'm actually going to be kitting up this week. I've not yet done it, but I'm going to be kitting up those small paintings from Paint Gem. And I'm going to kit them up in that storage because I think it will be absolutely perfect. Like the storage couldn't be better for those paintings is what I'm thinking. Jackie also says, if you've read Patricia Cornwell, she said you will love Kathy Reichs. She said, in my opinion, she believes she's far superior a writer. Her books are available on Kindle, so she expects them to be available on Audible. Well, I'm going to start checking out some of the people mentioned, or the authors mentioned, including some of the series, you know, that I have potentially read in the past. Because in the past I would have read them in a book or on Kindle, or both. I am going to have a look on Audible for some of those that have been mentioned for definite. That is something that I really, you know, I'm quite looking forward to it, even though I've still got a few more of the JD Robb to go. And the latest JD Robb was released, I want to say Friday. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the Friday before. Very, very recently, the last JD Robb did come out. So I now have 2 books that I have not yet listened to. Brand new. So I'm going to have to make sure that I am. Diamond painting potentially will be the primary one when I'm doing it. Because I pay more attention to listening to it. So maybe doing, you know, sometimes I put an audiobook on when I'm packing orders, for example. But I do need to, I have to pay a bit more attention when doing that, because of course I'm looking at words. I think that's where I find a big difference, when I'm looking and listening to words. So on an order form, I'm looking at words. Even though I can do it while listening to an audiobook, I think, you know, there may be the odd time that I miss a little bit, which is fine when it's a book that I've read before. But I think I'll have to make sure that when I'm listening to the new 2 books, I save them for diamond painting. and then I'll get some new books after that. Richard said loves to watch me diamond paint. It's really relaxing. Well, I hope you're giving diamond painting a go at the same time, Richard. It is a relaxing, calming hobby. You know that it can have its frustrations. Don't get me wrong, it's not all roses, all peachy. It can have, you know, some things that irritate, especially if you drop them. There can be things that irritate. There can be diamond paintings that you're not as happy doing as others. Maybe due to the quality, or maybe it just be due to your mood at the time as to whether you're enjoying it as much. But on a whole, as a general, it is such a relaxing hobby. Brianna said, I've never worked on a large painting, but said after watching all of your Mr. Quackers and Minions WIP and Waffles, makes me want to start one. Go for it. You know, I think if you've not necessarily done a big one before, definitely, you know, still do some smaller projects in between. Don't, you know, start your large one, keep going while you're enjoying it, but I do think every now and then it's nice to switch out to a smaller one or pause the large one. Don't think it all has to be done as the only painting you're working on. You don't want to sap the enjoyment out of it. Tammy, she says she's finished her wolf painting and she's bought 2 more, as well as a light pen to help her, she said, until she can afford a light pad, and she can't wait to get started. Awesome. I hope you really, really enjoy diamond painting. Gina, she has replied to Tammy and said if you have like an iPad or a tablet or a larger phone, you can download an app called Lightbox, which will turn your phone or tablet into something that can be used as a light pad to tide you over until you're in the position to get one of your own. Awesome idea. I like that idea. Might take a little bit more battery than an actual light pad, but if you can't afford one straight away, that is a very good, you know, idea to do otherwise. Sorry, my brain went off on a tangent then. Anna Marie, she says she loves the description on an English tea. Sounds so yum. Yeah, they are nice. They are nice. It's like a little sampling picnic. It works very well for me because I'm more of a grazer eater, you know, than a give me 3 big meals a day. I'm very much a grazer. So an English tea is ideal for me because I just get a little bit of everything. I could probably work very well if I just had, you know, an English tea sat there for me to just pick out throughout the day. If the bread didn't dry out, I probably would do it more often. Okay, that section is done. All done and dusted, as I like to say. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I feel like that one was rather quick. I think it was rather quick. I don't think the memory card stopped that much. But that is another section done. We can see the top of the doorway. And I will, well, we're now on 7.16%. So maybe there's still a lot to go. It does seem as though, well, we've done just over or just under a percentage to get 600 diamonds down. So yeah, This could take quite a while to get finished, but I'll work on getting another section done at some point this week. And thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll speak to you all again soon.